Topic of discussion: my fully magnetized Landspeeder Storm. Without any further ado, let's give this thing a spin and start some music. That was awesome. Seriously though, after watching it spin, I'm sure many of us will agree that this is a great looking model with tons of detail and plenty of things going on. In addition to that, it's also really fun to field during a match. So when I got this thing, I bought it with the intent to get as much value out of my wargaming dollar as possible. So what I did was I decided to magnetize the entire unit. It's my intent to cover in this video how I went about doing that and all the different parts that are magnetized. You'll notice in the center is a 60mm base, which accommodates 4 separate 25mm bases for their respective crew members on board the Landspeeder Storm. Here we see a shot of the pilot by himself without any other crew members. He's the only permanent fixture to the model. The Landspeeder Storm is sitting on top of an acrylic rod right in the center. That rod I found on eBay, and it was recommended to me by another fellow YouTuber by the name of Asjara. If you're not familiar with his work, check it out. The guy's a master with green stuff, and everything he does has narrative. Now, with that said, I want to cover each and every one of the units and how they look on board and off board the ship. First, we're going to cover this schlub. I'm going to also put in a picture of what he looks like when he's off of the ship. And you'll see it there on the bottom left. I'm going to do that with each and every guy so that you can see what they look like on board as well as off of the ship. Here he is leaning back, ready for action. He looks pretty vicious. Next up is our cabin passenger. You'll see that he's modeled sitting on a bench with one leg up, bracing for some sort of evasive maneuver that the ship might have to make. The model was posed a little bit awkwardly, so it was tough to figure out how I could use him off of the base, but I was able to get it in the end, and it worked out just fine. Next up is probably my favorite. This is the Sergeant. The reason he's my favorite is because there's so many options available to sergeants in the squad. Here he is with the standard chainsword, and here he is with the option that I usually go with, modeled him up with a power fist in case I ever have to jump out and punch a hole through a big tank. He's ready to rock, and he looks good. Now these guys I modeled with their bases on, so the base just slides right inside. Next up is a soldier ready to rappel down. If you look on the bottom left, you'll see that he's kind of standing on a little bit of a rock supported by an acrylic rod. And when you see him on board the ship, it looks like he's holding on and he means business. Last but not least, we have our gunner. He's on a heavy bolter right now. And if you look on the bottom, he's got an action pose where he's sort of sliding into the fray. Very fun to put together, and I'm pretty pleased with the way that he came out. Here's a shot of all of the soldiers off of the bases. You'll notice that the 60mm in the center has raised dots on them. Those are magnets. And there are also magnets on the bottom side of the 25mm bases. That's so not only the soldiers can stick on, but also so that the bases themselves can attach right to the center. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe and like the video.